A lot of times when we're working out and we're dieting and we're exercising and we have some kind of goal that we're trying to accomplish, a lot of times, and I've seen this so many times over the past 20 years with all the people we trained, a lot of times we get so caught up in our own heads that our vision gets clouded and we start talking ourselves out of the exact success we just spent the past couple weeks building up. And as a trainer for the past 20 years, working with all the people I've seen it so often. One of the hardest things is helping people to see that, that they're still relatively new in their journey, that they are in fact making progress and they're doing well, because in their own mind, they're sitting there feeling like nothing's changed. They're starting to wonder why they're even bothering in the first place. And it's a very depressing downward spiral that people start talking themselves into, when in fact, the complete opposite is happening. And that's why for us, the INBODY has been such a blessing, because it gives us cold, hard data that I'm actually able to take and put in front of people to show them, look at everything you just accomplished over the past couple weeks. Look at everything you're able to do. And it kind of helps pull them out of that pit of depression, and it really helps to uncloud their vision and build up their confidence and show them that they can in fact make the changes they started off trying to do if they just give it a little more time and they just put a little more effort to it. And that's why it's been such a blessing for us. Because at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, there's only two things that matter, and there's only two things that will never lie to you and give you a false sense of what's going on. Little kids and the numbers, right? And I make a joke about it, but those numbers, the reason why they're so important is it lets us see exactly what's going on in a person's routine with their workouts, their diet, their cardio, everything else. And more so than just showing us what's going on, it shows you exactly what you need to do to either keep that progress going in the right direction and tells you what you're doing right, or it gives you a very, very early on idea of what may necessarily not be working the right way, and it shows you exactly where you have to change it. Like, good example. I'll give you a real world example, and I see this all the time. A lot of times we have people come down, they start working with us, and outside of the couple sessions they're taking with us at the classes they come to, they start doing stuff on their own. And a lot of people fall victim to this, where they think in order to get results faster, I'm just gonna do more cardio and I'm gonna eat less. And yes, while cleaning up your diet is a big part of it, what I see more so than not is people cut down their calories so low that it actually starts having the reverse effect on their body and they start burning off muscle mass. Now, without the INBODY in the past, you jump on the scale, you see you're 5 pounds lighter, you're like, oh wow, this is great. And you keep going along, and you're burning off not just body fat, but you're burning off muscle also, where a couple months goes by, you look in the mirror, and you're a smaller, thinner version than what you were when you first started, but you have no muscle mass left, and you kind of sit there looking at yourself like, what happened to me? I look sick now. What the INBODY does is relatively early on, we try to do it every 3 to 4 weeks with people, right? It lets you see, hey, here's how much weight you lost, here's how much body fat you lost, but also here's how much muscle mass you lost. It also gives us an idea of your actual dry lean mass, which is the actual mineral density behind your muscle mass, and your basal metabolic rate, which is the exact number of calories your body's burning off just being alive. And looking at all those numbers, I could tell somebody within a matter of 2 or 3 weeks, listen, you're doing too much cardio, or you're not eating enough to keep up with the level of activity you're doing. Let's tweak those numbers. And while that person still has the motivation to go and work, we're able to make a little adjustment, get them back on the right path, and make sure that the work they are putting in gets them the results they want versus, how would you feel if you're working out for 4 months trying to accomplish something, and then you look back and you're like, what the hell happened to me? We see that happen all the time. And it was very hard trying to convey people those messages, and that's why the INBODY's been such a blessing for us, because it really helps people it really helps us give people the cold hard facts and the real world data they need to get better results in their routines. And that's just one of many examples. We'll probably have a couple more through this as we go through. More client example, that's really one of my favorites. I had a client, right? She was a high school girl, and she had an eating disorder. The poor girl, beautiful looking girl, but she had an eating disorder like too many people have these days. And we were trying to get her a better relationship with food again. And she was so afraid that she was gonna get fat that everybody kept telling her, you gotta eat more, you gotta eat more, you gotta eat more. But she was so afraid of just turning to something that she feared more than anything else that I talked to the parents. I said, listen, why don't we use this machine? And I put her on the INBODY every 2 weeks, and I was able to show her, Susie, her name's not Susie, Susie, look, you're eating more food now, but look, you're not getting any fatter. You're not gaining any body fat, you're not gaining a huge amount of muscle mass. Look how lean you are. Look at your physique. How do you feel? Oh wow, I feel so much better. You see what the food's able to do for you? And because I was able to show her in real hard numbers and facts that she wasn't gaining the weight that in her mind she thought she was, she was able to redevelop a better relationship with food again, and we were able to help keep that girl from potentially going down a path that could have been really bad. And that's probably one of my favorite stories. But at the end of the day, what it all comes down to is cold, hard data and the facts. Being able to show somebody exactly what's going on in their routine way before it becomes an issue, and being able to make those changes up front on the front end rather than the back end. That's why I'm so excited this machine. That's why I'm so glad we're able to offer it to all of our clients that come down and take our classes and our sessions. And one of the things I really like best about the INBODY that has really been beneficial for us for helping keeping people on track to their goals, but not only just that, keeping them in the right mindset to show them that they are making progress and give them a good, a good positive outlook to keep them going the whole way through, is with the INBODY, the different numbers that it measures and the different metrics that it gives you. I can tell somebody exactly how much fat they have in their left arm versus their right arm. I can tell somebody how much lean muscle mass they have in their right leg versus their left leg. I can tell somebody who's got a goal of burning fat around the midsection that by all traditional measuring standards, hey, you might have lost 15% body fat, but let's say your goal is to turn up your midsection, right? You want to get washboard abs. And you're doing your diet, you're doing your cardio, you're doing your weight training, you're doing all the stuff the right way, and after 4 to 6 weeks, you may have lost about 10 pounds of body fat, but all that body fat came from your arms and your legs. You're not losing any body fat around the midsection. Well, what was your goal in the first place? Your goal was to lose weight around the midsection, not so much the arms and the legs. So what the results from the INBODY lets me do, it lets me take data like that and show somebody, here's a person who's having trouble losing weight around the midsection. They must have a high amount of visceral fat. So it lets me start recommending techniques, methods, and strategies that will be, like for that person's scenario, more beneficial to what it is they're trying to accomplish for burning body fat. For visceral fat. So I would recommend stuff like, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Client, whoever I'm with, let's try doing certain things like intermittent fasting. Let's try doing some kind of cleanse or detox formula. Let's look at doing AM cardio first thing in the morning on an empty stomach versus later on after work at night, because studies have shown you'll burn a higher percentage of fat first thing in the morning before you eat anything. I could tell somebody to, maybe stay away from certain foods that might be adding to the issue, or I could say to somebody, hey, when are you eating your meals? And it just gives me the ability to ask better questions and make better recommendations. So while the goal is to burn fat, we can get the exact goal we're looking for. And like I said, imagine you're working out for 4 months, right? You're trying to get ready for the summer. This is gonna be the summer you do it. And you spend all this time, energy, and effort into doing something to get to a goal, and it turns out that you tried your hardest, you literally did everything you could, but you didn't get there. And it wasn't because you didn't have the effort to put forward, it's because you were just doing things maybe the not best way possible, and it wasn't your fault, you just didn't know any better. That's what the INBODY lets us give for clients. It gives us the ability to give true real-world feedback as to what's happening in their body on a month-to-month basis with their routines, and lets us make those little adjustments so you're not just working harder, you're working smarter. And I can't tell you how many people I've talked off the ledge where I had a client, she went away to the Caribbean last year before the lockdowns. She was sending me pictures, I'm drinking a Corona, I'm eating all kinds of cupcakes, I'm having ice cream, I'm having tacos. And she came back, she's like, oh my God, I'm so overweight, I'm so fat, my INBODY is gonna be horrible. And she was getting ready to just give up and quit. But we put her on the INBODY, and it actually turned out that she lost weight. She wasn't eating, her body was able to take all that stuff and process it, and she was moving around enough throughout the daytime where I think maybe she gained like 1 pound, and her body fat level was pretty much still the same, her muscle mass was still the same. She really wasn't that bad off. So here was somebody who was getting ready to just throw away all the months of work they did beforehand, and because we were able to show them, listen, it's not as bad as you thought, we were able to save them. I'll give you another example. I had a client, she was a bodybuilder, right? She did her first bodybuilding competition with me, and we were going through her routine, and she was having a hard time dialing in her macros. And I had her working with one of my buddies out in Edgewater, who's a really, really phenomenal, nutrition coach specifically for bodybuilding. And we were trying to play out her macros, get the exact amount of carbohydrates, fats, proteins, whatever. The INBODY was able to tell us, because we were doing her INBODY every 2 weeks, we were able to see, was she gaining fat, was she losing fat? Was she gaining muscle, was she losing muscle? So I want to picture a scenario for any of you guys who might have done a bodybuilding show now. You're not eating enough calories. Would you rather wait 2 or 3 months to the very end to take a look and be like, wow, I must not have been doing something right? Or would you rather catch it in the beginning in the first 2 to 3 weeks? That's the power of what the INBODY does for us. Those are the kind of feedback and results that we're able to bring to our clients and show to them so we can give them the best possible routine and make the changes to keep them on track. So that's why I'm so excited about the INBODY. So guys, scroll down, read the information below. Like I tell you all the time, anytime you visit one of my pages, if you see something on here that piques your interest but you're not too sure about what it is or you're kind of a little confused, do me a favor. Reach out to me, drop me a DM, send me an email, text message if you have my cell phone number, and either myself or somebody from the team is going to reach out to you to help answer that question and get you back on track and get you moving forward. So thanks for stopping by. See you guys in the next video. Stay awesome, and I'll talk to you soon.